what I am finding as it unfolds, a fascinating local issue. And as you know, there seems to be a lot of dysfunction amongst councils all over this country, with local government New Zealand and its code of conduct and people hiring, politically affiliated lawyers to do reports, and then the people who get mentioned in the report saying you can stick your report when the sun don't shine. Nobby Clark being called on to resign and giving the middle finger back to the wokes down in Invercargill. Really, local government is a hotbed of interesting stories, and no local authority more interesting at the moment than the Carterton District Council, which wants to sign off on a district plan, and everyone's got to do the district plan now, wants to sign off on a district plan that apparently has major flaws in it and has not been properly audited. Ron Mark, the mayor of the Carterton District, he says we can't do that. That'd be crazy. And his councillors have recently almost staged a coup against him, wanting to call a meeting and tick the long-term plan, with the auditors saying it's got major problems. So to figure out what is going on, we are joined now by Carterton Mayor Ron Mark. Ron, good morning to you. How are you?
I'm good. Well, it's been a week, Sean, but...
all right, now, are you on the speakerphone? Can you go off the speaker?
No, I'm on my hearing aids thing.
Oh, okay, all right. That's all right, Ron. We'll be
sure, I can turn it off and... Yeah.
Okay. Well, as long as you can hear me and I can hear you, it's just a little bit echoey. So, Ron, you have literally... some of your councillors are literally revolting, aren't they?
Yeah, well, what we've had is two councillors take it upon themselves to rush around and coerce and lead the other councillors. And like I think, not uncommon, my council's got 4 new first-termers. They can always be forgiven for, sort of listening to other councillors who've been around a lot longer. And one of those, Dale Williams, carries, from his past history in Otahonger, carries a bit of credibility. I actually appointed him as my deputy mayor because I trusted him and thought he'd be useful with his experience. But recently we've changed. He resigned and changed over to... We actually had an understanding right from the outset that I wanted to prepare someone else, groom someone else to take over for me when I stepped aside at the next term. But then he decided he'd Have
the staff of council also connived against you, Ron?
Well, it's very clear that the staff, wanted to proceed. They wanted us to sign off on the LTP. All of the briefings said, look, it's the auditor's opinion, Audit New Zealand's opinion, isn't, that serious. There's only 40 issues.
40?
There's only 40 issues, but most of them are minor, and the one issue around depreciation, well, we can resolve that, but if we can get a draft opinion from that, we recommend we should proceed and pass the LTP on the draft audit opinion, which made me very nervous, and I was saying, well, let's just tie hold on that.
Ron, let's get this clear. The audit office, you can't really get more credible, more official than that. The audit office have looked at your initial thoughts on the long-term plan and say there are 40 problems with it. Yeah,
there were 40 questions raised, and those questions needed answering, and quite clearly some of them were just matters of clarification and not that serious. But the one in particular that was very serious was their questions and challenging around projected growth figures, projected accommodation housing numbers, and the depreciation numbers, which should to substantially alter figures going out. Now, the interesting thing about that is that the depreciation numbers, if we had overrated them, overlevered them, as they were saying we had, actually, if you analysed that and worked it through, it might well have turned out that the rates decrease was less, but we're still heading for a 42% rates increase over 3 years. I think that was a number. And I think the other thing, Sean, is that the LTP in Carterton had been very controversial. The same people who organised this coup against me and ran around and got the numbers to roll me on that were involved in expelling one of my councillors for daring to criticise the LTP publicly. And they expelled her from. There was the irony. They expelled her on the basis of predetermined bias. Well, there was nothing more predetermined and nothing more biased than those two people.
In a normal process, if the audit office raises 40 issues, do you work through those issues before you approve the long-term plan?
In the normal circumstances, you would work through those issues. There has been, in the past, occasions where auditors given councils a preliminary draft copy of what they intend saying, and councils have had the opportunity of proceeding on that draft. It's a high-risk option. It's not an option that I like, and particularly when you got 40. 40 questions is 40 questions. Well, it's not 4. It's not 14. It's 40. And the other two big issues are very serious. So
where do we stand? And look, how much is your what's the annual budget of Carterton District Council? How much dough a year are we speaking about?
So it's over 20 million.
20 million. Okay.
We're not a big. We're not a big council. 20 million.
All right, but 20 million is 20 million. All right. Yeah. Where are you at now then?
Well, having tried to stall my council and get them to delay 3 times, we finally have a delay. But that's only thanks to the audit office and the Office of the Auditor General stepping in and telling Audit New Zealand, no, pause, you need to do some more work, which they did. So thankfully, and what I think some people underestimate, Sean, is that, I met you a long time ago in Parliament, and I've been around a bit of a while, and I know a lot of these people at Audit New Zealand and in the Office of the Auditor General, because I've worked with them at Select Committee and I work with them as a Cabinet Minister. Yeah. These people are not silly. These people are good at their job, and if they say stop, I guess that's what has to happen. So that's the major thing that curtailed these people's ability to roll me over and just hastily rush the LTP.
How do you work in future with these people, though? It must be pretty tense.
Prefer not to. You've got to work with people you can trust and people who you know have got your back, people who are not reckless and not dangerous. Don't endanger the reputation of your council. Don't endanger the reputation of what is the most important document you're going to publish in your term, the long-term plan. And if they are so, and to have Dale Williams involved in it, he's a man of experience. He cannot say that he did not know. He has too much experience behind him. So that was calculated, and I'm predicting that was his first foray into his bid for the mayoralty of Carterton, supported by his person, Robin Campbell, who wanted to be the deputy mayor this time.
Okay, we're getting down in the local government weeds now.
Yeah, it's just nonsense.